No one in his right mind would take you to Diwalwal. No guide, no buses, and certainly not a taxi. And anyway, there's not even a road. The two surest ways to get you there are greed and desperation, most probably a subtle mix of both. Mindanao is a separatist island in the southern Philippines. There, Diwalwal is a legend. Lost in the forests of Mount Diwata, this pirate city is not marked on any map because it's in no one's interest that it should be. Arriving in Diwalwal, I discovered a huge pile of metal, rust and wood. According to my information, at least 40,000 people live there. 40,000 squatters without legal status. A place out of time and outside the law, where one finds gangsters, deserters, crooked cops and politicians, but also and above all, destitution resulting from 40 years of disastrous economic policies. A population whose common denominator is nothing left to lose.
I have two partners, the Gad and the Gan.
I soon met Franco Tito. He's the barangay captain, one could say the sheriff of Diwalwal. At 50, he's surprised to be still alive. He has escaped 7 assassination attempts. When he came here for the first time 25 years ago, he was hired as a goon, serving a mine owner.
Some of the miners hired some goons in Davao City. I was one of them. That is my work. I was once a bodyguard of our barangay chairman here.
So you had gunfight with people?
Yes, many times. But I cannot recall it. But the last time that I recall is in Mount Diwata.
Anybody get killed?
More or less killed, a dozen of them.
One shooting?
We started 3 o'clock and we until 7. We didn't publicize it because there was, we called it here in Diwalwal, code of silence. I was declared wanted by the provincial commander of the Philippine Constabulary, and they chased me. And I go home to my place in Liti for 1 year because they want to catch me, dead or alive, during the time.
At that time, in the midst of anarchy and gangland rule, where politics and gold business were mixing, 3 dominant groups emerged. The first, JB Management, owned by the Brillantes family, whose stronghold is the Moncayo municipality at the foot of the mountain. Not far away, the Australian Mine, controlled by Tata Sala, president of the Miners' Union, who is apparently very difficult to meet at the moment. And finally, the Blue Corps operation, led by the Oy family, of which the eldest was recently elected governor of the province.
Because that time there was no legal basis for how to own that mining area. It's just if you are not brave enough, if you have no army to defend your tunnel, then you could just forget your tunnel. That's the rule of law that time.
So
okay?
you had your own army also?
Yeah, we had also our own private armies.
Franco Tito has emerged over time as the charismatic leader of all small-scale miners. He urges them to organize themselves into cooperatives and by pooling their meager resources to resist those who try to expel them from the gold area.
When did you become a captain of the barangay?
May 12, 1997. 5 years after that incident.
So from a wanted man, you became a politician.
Because the people here believe in me, believe in my leadership. There are Muslim brothers, sir. I can prove to you that Muslim and Christian can live together without fighting with each other. That is not true. That Muslim and Christians are fighting here in the Philippines. We love each other. They were here 24 years ago, and there are many Muslim brothers here who became millionaires. But unfortunately, some of them married 4 women. Because it is prohibited them to marry 5. Because when they marry 5 women, it means you are a Christian already.
Today in Diwalwal, the tens of thousands of miners have basically only 2 options: to be employed by the big groups, or to dig the mountain independently at random with no permit, no plan, and usually no equipment either. These are the small-scale miners that Franco tries to organize and defend.
Yes, gold. This is one of my mining operation. I started it 2 years ago. There are around 50 people inside working, and they receive 70% of the production, and the remaining 30% goes to the management. And until now, we have only a barangay permit, no permit from national government.
So you might be kicked out one day.
I don't think so. We will fight. We will fight for the rights of the Filipino people, because it's the doctrine of the doctrine that Supreme Court Justice David said, "Salus populi est suprema lex." The welfare of the people is the supreme law.
The intermediate option between wage labour and independent mining is to get a concession within the large mines. These small businesses benefit from the infrastructure of the larger operation, and they're called the abantero, those who go forward, and their concessions are called destino. The ore mined by the abantero is passed out of the tunnels by wagons. Once out, it's weighed and distributed among miners and owners in a more or less fair way.
Part of this will be given to the abateros, the miners. 40-60. 60 sa matero. 40 for the miners and then 60 for the management. No. 50-50. 50-50. Equals 50 for the management and then 50 for the miners.
To understand the work of a miner, I meet up with June, an abantero, at the entrance of the Blue Core Tunnel. June surprises me. Catching me unprepared seems to amuse him. I hadn't planned to enter the mine. I have no lighting, no protection for the camera, and straight from the entrance, it rains inside the tunnel. I'm following June because I don't want to disappoint him. Once inside, I'm left with no choice but to rely entirely on him.
What are we waiting for?
Rock falling?
Dagan tayo nagpagay? Pass.
Do you know everybody here?
Oh yes, we've been all my friends. Even though I'm not a company worker, but my work is also related for the company. It's because I am a destino maintainer. He is an employee of the company, but I might be in work, but I'm not the employee of the company. But my work is related with the company, Bugscore Minerals Corporation.
We walk for almost half an hour. The temperature quickly exceeds 40 degrees. I have more and more difficulty breathing. The air is thin. Without our torches, we would be in total darkness. June warns me against live high-voltage cables dangling from the walls, which have already killed several miners.
Shall we pass this way? Then you can see my destino on how to extract gold in the rock.
Inside the Destino, the progress is more tortuous. We lose all notion of time. Some passages are so narrow that we must crawl forward 10 meters at a time with no possibility of turning back. Millions of tons of rock surround us. I want to believe that June knows what he's doing. And anyway, I have no choice but to follow. A simple landslide could seal all exits, burying us alive several hundred meters underground, in a maze that nobody has ever mapped and through which very few know the way.
Not so very dangerous. Blue quartz vein.
So tell me, that's where you dig? Your flashlight is the only equipment you bring?
Yeah.
Can you show me your equipment?
This is what we call a handle with coil spring.
Right.
This is the handle, this is a coil spring. This is my flashlight.
Can I see your flashlight again? So that's your main tool to get gold.
Yes, there's one other.
Not a big investment, right?
Yeah. Not so big invest.
How many bags do you do a day?
For more than 5 hours, I've got 5 bags of ore.
How many kilos per bag?
Not less than 70 kilos.
You can carry 70 kilos.
Oh yes.
Good, you can bring me back.
Yes.
We're coming out drenched. The air is cool, we're finally breathing freely. I've only spent a few hours underground and I feel I'm coming back from hell. June and his companions live this every day. Large operations are in constant competition with hundreds of small-scale mines. Franco Tito tries to maintain this delicate balance by organizing small-scale miners so that everyone has a chance, if not of making a fortune, at least to earn his daily bread.
That operation, Mother Ben. The Mother Ben is in the Balite. He's the owner of this operation. He has one of my man before. And his companion. They were former miners. Now they're already tunnel owners. They are now the proprietors of this operation. They are the financier.
Are you afraid?
Look ah.
Wala.
Look matay, marguapo. He's not afraid because he's not handsome. He's not afraid to die. But the problem is the manway. It's very difficult to get inside the tunnel. It's very narrow.
Sikap, sama.
Salamat po sa pasensya sa istorbo ah.
Franco Tito explained to me that he never descends into the mines because it's much too dangerous. He's offering anyway to show me the difference between artisanal mines and those of large companies. Once again, I cannot help but follow. These independent operations are vertical mines that sink directly into the mountainside.
16 meters from the horizontal area. And we need to go an additional 20 meters to reach the bin. But it's a narrow place. We call it baby shit because it's less than 1 meter.
How many people are working here?
30 miners work here.
How do they do to cross here with the bags and everything?
They are hardworking. I will tell you frankly that this is a dangerous area for the miners because it has no proper timbering. We rely on the strength of the rocks. Continue. He has a companion inside. They blasted the vein, and this is the ore that they produce.
A vertical pit.
A vertical, 6 meters from a vertical. Sometimes they go deeper, 20 to 100 meters. Okay, padulong din dong, padulong din sa. Okay. Okay. It is already a mine out area, but it has still high grade ore inside. Split bin only. That's why they use leads and hammer. Each bag, minimum price here is 500 pesos per bag. Maximum is 2,000 pesos per bag.
For 2 decades, the haphazard exploitation of the mines, whether industrial or independent, has eaten the mountain from the inside.
So what happened here, sir?
This mountain is the center of the planning areas. 1989 is shut down, a landslide and caused so many lives. Many people buried alive way back in 1989. Almost 1,000 people died.
Other miners came and reported to me that your partner is in there. A big boulder, as big as a cow, what do you call that, covered him. Blood. Then he's dead. He was an inspiration when I wrote this song. Mga kababayan, nais kong inyong malaman ang isang kwento ng buhay dito sa Diwalwal. Magbuhat mga ako'y dumating dito kumakayod. Dinanas kong gutom at puyat o kunting sinasahod. Pinasukan ko'y pagiging isang abantero. Doon ako sa tunnel nagtatrabaho. Kahit na mahirap sa tuwin ay delikado, ito naman ang buhay minero. Meron akong narinig malaki raw ang kita ng mga negosyante at mga kapitalista. Ngunit karaniwang minero kung minsa'y kawawa. Kayod kalabaw ngunit kukunti ang kinikita. Hanggang dito na lang ang maikli kong kwento. Sana kaming mga minero ipagdasal ninyo sa taimtim na panalangin at iba yung pagsisikap. Patuloy ang buhay sa Diwalwal. Sa taimtim na panalangin at iba yung pagsisikap. Patuloy ang buhay sa Diwalwal. Patuloy ang buhay sa Diwalwal.
In the 80s, at the beginning of the gold rush, the nuggets were gathered straight from the riverbed. A miner earned within a few hours the equivalent of several months' average wage. Unfortunately, the richest veins now seem exhausted. The canteen of Rislin, where I used to stop for rest, became, in the course of my investigations, an important source of information.
Before, I was working as classifier in that company, the Blacksmith Corporation. When the bankruptcy came, we are forced to have a retrenchment. So that's why I have to look for another job to support my family, of course. You ask me why some people didn't get rich here when there is plenty of gold in our feet. Because you know, our abanteros before, when it is very easy to get ores that has plenty of gold in it. When they go inside the tunnel, they will say Jusco. But when they get out, they will go to disco.
Here, in the past, owners of restaurants, bars and brothels have made fortunes. The city made its reputation as a capital of vice.
And they spend the money unwisely. Because they got the money in easy way, it will go away like just a smoke in the hand. You know, it's sad here, you know why? There are plenty of family that has broken. It broke up because the husband got somebody, got some chicks, got some girl from the video key houses, and because they got plenty of money, they go there, they drink, they got that girl with them, so they have started a relationship, then the family broke out. Go back here, go back. Baby is sleepy.
How old is he?
1 month and 4 days.
Where is he born?
Here.
Here?
Here.
Amo dyan story. Bang murot ay video niya mo mga.
Story ah? Philip! Go, hey! Oh, mag-English na! Here. Yeah. Both nga napidyokan na siya.
How many people are living here?
13 times 4. How much? 13 times more or less 3 or 4. 50? 50. Every room from my house, they rented 400 pesos a month.
Today, the failure of local enterprise offers an investment opportunity to foreign capital. For potential investors, the mountain of Diwalwal is a very promising area of which only the surface has been scratched. It could still be one of the richest gold deposits in Asia. But exploiting the mines industrially would require first the expulsion of tens of thousands of miners with no legal title. One multinational, the Southeast Mining Corporation, took the chance of investing in Diwalwal, buying for a nominal peso the exclusive exploitation rights throughout the entire zone. To enforce their exclusive exploitation rights, Southeast Mining associated with one of the most powerful families in the region, the Brillantes. Together they decided to get rid of all other miners by any means.
You've been in the mine today?
Yes.
How many hours did you spend there?
24 hours.
12?
24.
24 hours. So what is your father doing? Why is he in hospital?
One of the company created a poisonous smoke underground to poison the workers so that they will evacuate the place and nobody will go inside the tunnel anymore so that they can control everything.
That's what happened to his father?
Yeah, that's what happened to his father. So his father is among those who are intoxicated by the smoke.
The multinational use the divide and rule tactic, divide and conquer. We are all small barrel miners during the time, but some of them become big and some of them connive with the multinational to drive us away from this place.
Mga dumaan pa yung mga taon, nagkaroon ng tunnel yung kapatid ko, and then lumaki ng lumaki, and then to create a JB Mining Corporation. Isa siya sa successful na minero dyan sa Diwalwal.
Brilliant's group of company went into a joint venture with Southeast Mining Company, a big multinational company. And Southeast Mining really want to take over the area because they said they had papers, documents that they own the area.
The association of the Southeast multinational and the Brillantes dramatically worsened the situation and entrenched a culture of violence already widely present in Diwalwal.
When that Southeast Mining came in, the two groups, the Australia group of companies owned by Tauhu family and Tata Sala family, and our group, the Blue Core group of companies, began to merge, not on business but on common objective, that is to defend the tunnels. There were killings inside the tunnel, no? Because to protect our interests.
So the war went on for how many years?
It was about 5 or 6 years.
Do you have an idea how many people get killed there?
Countless.
Inside the tunnel, we burn tires in the food poison, and when you inhale the smoke, you get killed. I am the one who personally retrieved a cadaver of this man inside the Australia tunnel because everybody's afraid of the poisonous gas. There were so many who got killed. I brought them to the National Highway. 7 to 10,000 people came down from Mount Diwata to National Highway and they barricaded. And I blocked the National Highway 4 times, bringing the cadaver of the miners killed inside the tunnel.
The co-worker of his father died, and that co-worker was put across the line.
You went there also?
Yeah, I was there also. I do the struggle because we want this place for us.
They used the army tank to run over the cadaver to disperse the people. They wanted to cover it up. They don't want it to be in the media.
That was a multinational leader.
One of their men.
Which one?
It's Mayor Brillantes.
Why is he in full gear like that?
He was afraid he might be killed here.
What happened to them now?
He was killed. He was shot.
The chairman?
The mayor. He was shot in Cockpit Arena.
And after that, so wala. Ako parang nawalan rin ako ng gana sa buhay. Very sad.
But Tata Sala has been implicated in the murder.
Yes, implicated, one of the planner.
Joël Brillantes, mayor of the municipality covering Diwalwal and senior partner of Southeast Mining, was murdered in 2003. Among the chief suspects is the head of one of the other two big mining groups, Tata Sala, who until today is still on the run. In 2005, the president of the Philippines, Gloria Macapagal, personally decreed that Tata Sala should be put on the country's most wanted list. However, he's rumoured to be still in the region, protected by powerful political factions with whom he has forged alliances. To track down this man, we made contact with several local politicians, including the head of the National Police Regional Intelligence Office, who ultimately led us to him personally.
So, that's the lie. Who are your enemies, you think?
Wala man. Rivalry sa business siguro, baka meron. Pero lang healthy competition. This is not enemy.
But now you have a problem with the justice, right?
Yeah.
So why? How did it start? Why?
In 2000, Joel Brillantes is become a mayor in Moncayo. And then he encroached my area in Tanner. He tried to
I have to explain that. We were doing the ballet TV. We were working on that. Joel Brillantes was working in another area. But then he made a tunnel that went right under our tunnel. That was it. That was the trouble. We do not call it. Yeah, but that was, there was rivalry.
But then you have been charged of the murder of
Brillantes.
Yeah.
But that got dismissed already.
Dismissed already.
It was dismissed by the court.
So you didn't do it? And so what is the situation now with the Brillantes?
Okay naman. Hindi naman sila bumalik naman sila dun sa original area nila.
Ito urge miners to unite in business and politics. I urge them to unite against the multinational miners to protest versus government.
Finally, Southeast Mining lost its case. Finally, the stakeholders realized that we have to unite. The three big stakeholders have to unite to achieve that elusive industrial peace in that area.
We were the one who requested the government to intervene. We were the one who requested them to exercise their inherent power, because during the time the Southeast Mindanao Gold Mining Corporation used the armed forces and the Philippine National Police to drive us away from this place. That's why I asked the national government to exercise their power, their inherent power. This is their duties and responsibilities to protect the citizen.
Following the murder of one of the main operational stakeholders, one priority seemed obvious to all concerned, including the central government, who through the preceding 20 years had obligingly looked the other way: the necessity to restore peace and order.
Sometimes the New People's Army are operating in that area, the Paraiso area, as you can see.
So is it dangerous for you here?
I should not be complacent of the security. I should be careful every time I visit this place. There's always a possibility that I can be kidnapped by the NPA.
Several armed guerrilla groups still occupy the surrounding forests. Skirmishes between the guerrillas and the government troops happen almost weekly. For all those armed groups, Diwalwal is an important source of funding, and they maintain a discreet but constant presence. Brian Bagaipo, the officer in charge of security who takes us to visit the outposts, is forced to dress in civilian clothes so as not to be kidnapped.
These are quarters. This is there. Philip, this is the ECOIC, the non-commissioned officer in charge of this outpost. Corporal Nestor Lumontan.
Where's your gun now?
Here. Correct. Yeah. Easy to hold the gun, you know? That's the way we... Diwalwal is hope for the Filipinos.
So now, it's another story. I am the governor. I was elected last May as a governor. I have three objectives. Number one is I would not, I don't like and I will not let any stakeholders that would be displaced in that area. Second, they have to pay their taxes. Third, their social obligations, that includes the environmental protection.
The miners of Diwalwal are using two techniques to extract gold from the ore. The first consists in pulverizing the rocks in ball mills, then adding water and mercury. The process lasts several hours, during which the mercury and gold amalgamate. Miners such as June, the one who showed us his mine, process their ore in their own ball mills under their houses.
This is what we call as bubbles. Just throw it a little bit of mercury. That's why we can get the gold.
Mercury is highly toxic to humans and to the environment. It's therefore normal for heightened precautions to be taken in its handling and disposal.
This is the mercury, liquid mercury. This is a mercurized.
How much mercury do you put there?
1 kilo of mercury.
For how many bags?
4 bags. That 1 kilo mercury continues 20 days.
Mercury has the characteristic of accumulating in the body and causing serious damage to the nervous system. This is known as the Minamata disease, named after one of the largest Japanese industrial disasters, whose victims are counted by tens of thousands, with consequences spanning several generations. Burned with a blowtorch, the mercury evaporates in the air, leaving only a nugget of gold. Mercury vapors are carried away by the wind and inhaled by nearby people and animals.
Got only 0.98.
How much is that?
550 per gram.
The mercury recovers only between 30 to 40% of the gold contained in the ore. The residual sludge of the mercury processing is therefore saved and put into bags.
That's why what they call as mini plant. As what they say, this is the second and the last time on how to get gold.
When a miner has accumulated approximately 300 bags, he may proceed to the second treatment, where the gold is dissolved by cyanide in large tanks to be absorbed by active carbon.
This is the carbon, a pregnant carbon. We throw it and burn it. After that, if the carbons have been dust, within 12 hours, it might be dust. 12 hours. There, the last time, we burn it there so that we can see the melt gold.
How much gold do you have for 300 bags?
We have only more or less 100 grams.
Sana'y inyong pakinggan, ito'y tungkol sa gintong mineral. Noon pa man ito'y sanhina ng maraming mga digmaan, nang nila'y gintong kayamanan ng mga kaharian. Lumipas ang mga panahon, hanggang sa panahon kasalukuyan, ginto'y lalong naging mahalaga. Hinukay sa mga minahan kahit saan. matumal na sa tuwin ay naalay ng buong may kapal na siyang nagbibigay. Ginto, magpakita ka upang buhay ay sagana. Mga maliit na minero sa'yo lamang maasa, naghihintay ng gintong biyaya.
There's no more fish in that river. So actually, it's a dead river.
And that goes up to the sea, right?
Yes, up to Butuan Bay in Agusan, Norte. Maybe up to Surigao. It really affects from here to the people down there in Agusan. The incoming generation, they will suffer.
The cyanide, deadly even in very small doses, is discharged into the Nabok River at the rate of several tons each month. In 2006, the respected Blacksmith Institute ranked Diwalwal among the 20 most serious ecological disasters on the planet.
We had already a solution regarding the siltation in Nabok River, but unfortunately our government did not comply what they promised to us.
A couple of years ago, it allocated about 50 million pesos for that big dam. But sad to say, and unfortunately, I think if you saw that area, we spent about 5 million only. I don't know where's the 45 million.
Despite massive environmental pollution and widespread corruption within the entire political system, Franco Tito refuses to be beaten and fights hard for a better future. He's the founder of the only school that spans from primary to secondary. Whilst now partially funded by the government, at the school inception, Franco Tito had to bring his weapons to the pawn shop time and again to pay for the teachers' salaries. Today, the school educates almost 2,000 children. Some of them have received scholarships from the best universities in the country.
All in all, we are only 29 teachers. Comprises with 1,741 pupils from grade 1 to grade 6. Okay, they are 89 pupils here in grade 1, section D. 89 pupils. Good morning, especially those pupils are very attentive, are very supportive, and also they have their eagerness and willingness to learn. Those grade 6, with a population of 213, all passed to the secondary level, 100%.
We know that education is much more valuable than gold. We give them real gold medals from the tunnel to encourage them to study harder.
I got the gold medal in grade 5 and first year only, sir. 10 grams each day, 20 grams, and it helps a lot, sir.
What did you do with it?
I've sold it. Sold it because of my public.
Franco Tito is just completing 2 terms as barangay captain and is now preparing to run for a 3rd and final term.
What will you do for the election?
What will I do for election? I do good for a company. What the company says, that's what I do. Even though I might be too much friend with Franco Tito, Even though what Franco Tito says so good, it's just for my family. It's just because we live in for the company.
Who's running against Franco Tito?
The one who's running for Franco Tito is Tata Sala.
You know, in Iglesia ni Cristo, we vote in blocks. We got one vote. Everybody, if the central office, if our head will tell us, you have to vote this man, all of us will vote for that man. For me, it's good. It's really good. There is no other Franco Tito again.
Suppose somebody tell you to vote for somebody else.
If my religious preference, the Iglesia ni Cristo, will tell me to vote for something else, of course I will follow it. That is our doctrines. But my heart will always be for him, for Franco Tito.
Today, Franco Tito appears useful to all the parties involved, including those who would like to open the mountain to foreign mining companies. Even for this, peace and order are necessary preconditions. And for now, only he seems able to establish, if not total mutual confidence, at least a basic consensus.
Maybe there are a lot of politicians that will come, but there is only one Franco Tito for me. He is a very good man, and he is the one responsible for making this Diwalwal a peaceful one to live. I don't think I can still find somebody like him when his term is over. He is very brave, but he is very human.
But a lot of people try to kill him.
Yeah, that was because that people, they have self-interest in Diwalwal, and Franco Tito opposed them. That's why he wants him to die. Actually, some people, some sector paid a killer just to kill him. So they can do what they want to do in Diwalwal because they know this place is very rich in gold deposit. And Franco Tito, he don't want to give this Diwalwal to the rich.
Not only Mount Toyota is the mining area. There are so many mining areas in Compostela Valley, but unfortunately we were not able to develop it because our government officials wanted our mining areas to be given to the multinational companies. And when they come here, they need only educated people and highly skilled workers because they will use highly mechanized equipment. They don't need many workers anymore, unlike here that is labor-intensive mining. There are so many who will be displaced because there are so many people here who don't know how to read and write. I wanted Diwalwal to be mined by the Filipino people. We are not against the foreigner. We are only against those foreigners who wanted to get this area away from us. My life is still in danger because there are so many people who wanted to control this area. It has an estimated deposit of $18 billion according to the Bureau of Mines at 500 pesos per gram. Now, the price of gold rose from 500 to 1,000 pesos per gram refined. It is armored piercing. Even if you have bulletproof, it will penetrate. This kind of bullet. There are so many pellets inside. It is a double action bullet.
But with the price of gold that defies historical records and continues to climb, what can one man really do alone against the greed of international groups, even armed with a Colt 45 1911 model?
But now maybe there come a time that they don't need anymore this kind of gun. Because what we need now is education.
Four years later, we return to Diwalwal to finish this film. The road has been widened and a minibus service has developed between Moncayo and the mining area. Diwalwal has not changed much. infrastructures had continued to deteriorate and the political climate still seemed as deplorable. In our absence, Franco Tito has been re-elected without campaigning. He's finishing his third and last term as barangay captain. I returned to Diwalwal both to wrap up our story and to keep the promise made to the miners that they would be the first to see our film.
What happened to them now?
He was killed. He was shot.
The chairman?
The mayor. He was shot in Kaklit Arena.
But our friend June, the miner who took us inside his tunnel, will never see these images. The tunnel where we filmed him collapsed 2 months after our visit. June and his 2 associates were buried alive. Their bodies were only recovered several days later. In fact, during our absence, all the tunnels where we filmed have collapsed, one after the other. Franco has shaved his moustache, but more importantly, today, he no longer carries a gun.
Franco, where is your gun?
I have no gun anymore. I leave it in my house. I don't use gun. From now on, I'm no longer a barangay captain. 1 month from now. So no need for me to use the gun. And the gun here in Diwalwal is obsolete already.
To address the dramatic problems of Diwalwal, Franco Tito has changed his approach. He's adopted a radically new strategy, a surprising one. He understood that the well-being of the people for whom he stood for so many years is less dependent on their immediate income than on the quality of their environment.
We are living in a paradise, but we make it a hell. This is my tunnel before. I'm planning to make it a water supply tunnel. I'm planning to make a mineral water out of here. I will get sample water here and I will bring it to grow wood and drugs. We will test the water.
Franco Tito is now convinced that water is a much more valuable resource than gold. Another mission Franco has set for himself, even more ambitious than the production of mineral water, is to clean the Nabok River, to remove the heavy metals accumulated over 25 years in its riverbed. Herculean task. So just how realistic is this goal? His first remarkable step was to convince the owner of one of the largest engineering businesses in the capital, Manila, to risk 300 million pesos, providing technical assistance for this improbable venture. But fate has an ironic twist. After analysis, the sludge removed from the river appears richer in gold content than the ore currently extracted from Diwalwal's tunnels.
Bisan siya kabus o simple lang nga tao kaninyo Sukad pa kani ato sa kwarta wa nagpanila, gilabanan niya kamo, isipin yung kapitan ug amahan ni ining baryo. Franco Tito ang kapitan, ganinyo siya mulaban, gagmay minero sa kabukiran, walay angay nga kabalakan. Diwalwal mapasalamaton sa pakigbisog ni Franco Tito, prinsipyo ug baruganan, mas labaw pa sa bulawan. Franco Tito ang idolo sa mga gagmayng minero, imusubo kung naay kastarungan, utabang sa nang ginahanglan, pamulawan palambun, mga pangandoy makabut maangkon, diwalwal mapasalamaton sa pakigbisog ni Franco Tito. Padayon sa gagmayng minero, kauban ta si Franco Tito.